Want to welcome to the show right now, General Counsel for the National Shooting Sports Foundation, and man, I'm guessing will be in St. Louis at some point, Mr. Larry Keene. How you doing tonight, Larry?
Very good, Cam. How are you?
I'm good. You are going to be able to make it this year, right?
I will be there for a few days, yeah.
Fantastic. All right, so I've got to ask you about this piece that I saw today, Gun Bubble Reloads on Obama re-election fears. This from Reuters. Larry, I don't remember there being a gun bubble bursting in 2009. Reuters says there was a huge slump after the election of Barack Obama. I from a consumer standpoint, I got to tell you, I must have missed that.
You didn't miss anything. Sales really started to take off in 2008. There was a marked, really noticeable increase in mid-October of 2008, and then, it really took off from there all the way through 2009 into the early part of 2010. And then certain categories started to slow down a little bit, which is totally kind of normal. So 2010 was a little behind 2009, which was a record year for sales.
Okay.
If you compare, for example, 2010 to 2008, 2010 was way ahead of 2008. And then if you look now at 2011, it was a record year, far exceeding what we saw in 2009. And we have now had 22 or 23 months in a row where the NICS background checks that we adjust to back out non-sales-related background checks, 23 months in a row where those monthly checks were higher than that same month the year before. And that, as recently as the figures for March just came out this week.
Yeah.
And it's a 20% increase over March of last year. And so, and then you see companies like Sturm Ruger announcing that they have a 1 million unit back order, in the first quarter of this year.
Right.
And so they're not taking any more orders because they can't meet the demand that they have now. And then you're seeing other companies do the same thing. And also not just for firearms, but for ammunition. And I'm sure your audience is experiencing it already, or they soon will be. Ammunition is starting to be in short supply, and I think you're going to see that continue right on through, at least through the election. So, and you see Smith & Wesson and Ruger both reaching 52-week highs on their stock prices. The industry is experiencing some pretty incredible sales volume, but it has been going on for several years. And if you go back and we've done this, looked at the NICS background checks going back for 10 years, you can see a steady increase year over year, every year, going up from the year before, and each month, being higher than that same month the year before, and that shows no sign of letting up. And we're seeing, not just a couple of percent increases. We're seeing, double-digit increases each month from the year prior for that month. Month after month after month, which is just stunning and spectacular.
Well, absolutely. And it's funny, the columnist here, Robert Siren, talks about that non-existent bubble bursting. He says the boom misfired in 2009. And he also says history suggests that what we're seeing now is just, quote, another gun bubble in the making. I got to tell you, Larry, I don't think that's the case because, we're not, the people that I'm talking to, whether they're gun store owners, whether they are instructors, they're telling me that it's not that people are buying guns and then they're putting them in a safe somewhere and they're not shooting it. They're buying their gun and then they're taking a class and then they're getting their concealed carry license and maybe they're joining a shooting league. They're actually getting out there. They're not just gun owners, they're shooters.
The great myth being spun by the gun control communities, people like Josh Horowitz from the Coalition to Stop Gun Violence, is that, this is not, there are not new buyers.
Right.
This is just the same fringe, wacky Second Amendment gun nuts who are just buying more guns That's what they want the mainstream media to report, or to write, and try to put their spin on it. The truth is that about 25% of all customers going into retailers today are first-time buyers. We have seen a staggering, stunning increase in the number of women who are participating in hunting and the shooting sports or purchasing firearms for self-defense. In the order of 55 or 45%. Some people estimated as high as 60% increase. And so, as you point out, that people are taking the classes. You try to get into a firearm safety education class. They're filled. There are wait lists. This has been going on for years now. Mm-hmm. And, of course, as I always like to analogize, it's like driver's ed, right? The first time when you learn to drive, you take a driver's ed course. But when you buy your second and third car, you're not going to take driver's ed again. But when you buy your first firearm, you're likely to be taking a firearm safety education course. And certainly the ability of law-abiding citizens in 49 of the 50 states to be able to lawfully possess a firearm and to carry it with them for self-protection is a big driver here. This is one of the main reasons why sales are increasing. And if you look at Wisconsin, the most recent state to trust its citizens to exercise their Second Amendment rights and to protect themselves outside the home, the Wisconsin DOJ reports that the concealed carry license permits are, in tens of thousands.
Right.
And so lots and lots of Wisconsinites are now, taking advantage of this new opportunity. And of course, it's very clear that a large percentage of those, a very high percentage, are going to go out and purchase a firearm that has the features that make it functional and appropriate for concealed carry. And so those are new purchases. And of course, they're buying all the other things that you buy with a firearm: ammunition, cleaning supplies, perhaps safety devices or a lockbox or things along those lines, holsters, et cetera, et cetera. So all of that drives sales, and all of that creates economic, activity. And we have our congressional fly-in coming up later this month on the 19th. And on the morning of the 19th, when we're on Capitol Hill with industry leaders, we will be rolling out the industry's economic impact report for 2011. And, it is going to show very substantial, very healthy increases in the economic impact the industry has on the economy, on the number of jobs, on the number, the amount of taxes that are raised, the contributions through the Pittman-Robertson excise tax for wildlife conservation funding. So we're very pleased to say that the firearms industry is helping to lead the U.S. economic recovery.
Well, absolutely, and has been for quite some time. Listen, Larry, again, I appreciate you coming on the program tonight, sir. Great talking to you, and I hope we can spend a few minutes with you in St. Louis next week.
Oh, definitely. We'll make a point of stopping by.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Larry Keane, Vice President and General Counsel of the National Shooting Sports Foundation.